Happy New Year! This is our first video of 2022, and last year we asked you guys to ask us questions on YouTube and on Instagram to make this Q&A video.
Yeah, it's been a big year for us. As you can see, some changes around here, like this little one. Oh, he's going for the mic. But we wanted to begin by doing a little yearly recap. First of all, who are we? We are Susie and Martin from Gemini Connect. We also have a travel channel called Gemini Discover, and this is Julian, who we think is the world's cutest baby, but then again we are biased. We wanted to start with a yearly recap very quickly. Throughout this year, the biggest thing was we had a baby, and that's probably the best thing we've ever done.
So it hasn't really impacted our tech channel, but on our travel channel, we are transitioning our content to be more about family travel vlogging. So stay tuned on that channel if you want to see some of those adventures.
And if you want to see more of Julian. Besides that, we were able to double our subscribers in the last year, so that's over 100% growth year over year, which makes us really happy because at this point we have over 41,000 or so. And if that happens again and again, we will have a big channel very soon, within a year or two. That's really exciting.
And that growth is across the two channels combined.
Yeah, so two channels. The travel channel more than doubled. It went from something like 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers almost to 7,000. So that's really good growth right there. So it's its own channel in its own right at this point. Besides that, we're happy with our income. We're making something like $3,000 to $4,000 a month from YouTube alone. And at this point, it's quite a respectable business in my book.
And it's still a side business for us. It's not our full-time thing, although it's kind of becoming that way for me.
That is true, especially with Julian around. It's easier to make YouTube than go around the whole city doing photo shoots for you. Okay, so we are going to begin with the questions we got from you guys. Number one is one we get very often. How did you guys meet and how long have you been together?
So we met on a travel website called Couchsurfing. Some of you might know it, some may not, but it's kind of similar to Airbnb, but you don't have to pay. The whole idea was to meet travelers and sometimes stay with them. And we didn't surf on anybody's couch. It's always the next question that we get. We met through the community feature in which we could meet local Couchsurfing group members here in our local communities.
Yeah, I wanted to find someone to travel with because I love traveling, and I also was a photographer taking all these pictures, but I was like, this would be so much more fun if I did it with someone else. And I saw Susie's profile and I saw she takes pictures as well and was having fun like riding elephants and caving, and I messaged her and it started from there. And that was exactly 10 years ago.
Yeah, 2012 is when we consider like our anniversary of sorts of when we first met.
So yeah, 10 years, wow. And now we have Julian.
Yep.
That's the fruit of it all. Number two question here is, how did you get started in photography?
So I got started in photography about 2010-ish. So I'd been working a desk job, 9 to 5, working in finance. Came to find out that I really didn't like doing that as a job. So I had to find another skill of sorts to build a business on. And so I did a lot of different things, trying to figure out, how can I be independent and not have to work for a corporation. And so photography is something that I kind of stumbled upon. First through music photography and then food photography, and then events, and that's morphed now into video.
And for me, I'm a software developer full-time, but one of my jobs, the first one actually in the field, they told me, hey, can you keep on building out our e-commerce store, which by the way includes taking photos of all our products. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll learn photography as well as software. So that was our beginning, and later on we met and converged and moved into videography, which is probably what you know us for at this point. And that was really kind of always the intent. We always wanted to do videography, but in 2012 when we actually opened the YouTube channel, we shot a lot in Belize with the client and we didn't know what to do with it. We couldn't edit, we didn't have a narrative, and we didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, that's true. So it took us a while to, really get into video, but we both started in photography. That was kind of the premise. And actually the original premise of this channel was to learn how to vlog and do videography, and we were gonna, make videos about that, and that's still kind of what it is today.
Yeah, and we got inspired to do video during our honeymoon, and that's when we began our actual YouTube presence. Number 3, how long have you been on YouTube? I guess we just went into that, but the channel says 2012, but the truth is we got serious about it right around the beginning of 2018 after we returned from a honeymoon in Italy with a lot of phone videos.
Phone videos and actually drone videos. You know, you got your Mavic, the original Mavic, and you know he was making these drone videos. We're like, well, what do we do with these now? We have all this drone, you know, B-roll, and we didn't know what to do. So between the phone footage and the drone footage, we just started, you know, making these little travel vlogs. They were like a minute long, and they weren't very. I mean, they were exciting to us, and some of them actually did get views, but you know, there wasn't much structure to them, and so yeah, that's you know how it all started. But it took us, I would say, like a couple of years to really get into a groove where we felt comfortable with our storytelling. And actually, if you look at our travel channel, Gemini Discover, that one was started around 2019. And when we started that channel, we knew more so what we were doing. So there's less experimenting on that channel. More of those videos are polished and what we consider our official style.
Yeah, Gemini Connect pivoted a bunch of times, and we came back from the honeymoon. We said, okay, we're gonna do this. We spent like $10,000 to $20,000 on gear, and then we were like, well, we have all this gear now. Let's talk about it and make some money back. And that was the start of Gemini Connect as a gear channel, and we phased out all the travel content onto another channel.
Yeah, that's true.
Number 4, good segue. What gear do you use to shoot your videos? What do you use to make your vlogs? So you want to take that one on?
Well, we've made a lot of videos on this channel talking about that, and you know the tools haven't changed much. The GoPro is still our primary camera that we use to shoot our narratives when we're vlogging. The model changes every year. We're now on the GoPro Hero 10. We think that's the best GoPro ever, and that's still our storytelling camera of choice, but we also fill in the gaps using our mirrorless cameras. Both of those are Fujifilms, the X-T3, which is what we're shooting on right now, and also the X-H1. And you've added a drone, we've got the Mini 2, and so typically if you look at one of our travel vlogs, those are usually comprised of at least 3, 4, sometimes even 5 different cameras shooting all that footage together.
Yeah, the way it goes is that whenever we're in the shots, usually, and moving especially, that's GoPro, which is like 80 to 90% of the videos, and then all the zoomed in shots or beautiful sceneries and things like that are Fuji. If it's aerial, that's the DJI Mini 2, and sometimes we fill in with the phone, maybe during a dinner or when it's dark and things like that. So at least 4 or 5 devices in every video you see on the travel channel. And going off of that, number 5 question is, what is the best action camera?
Well, we answered that. We still think it's the GoPro. You know, DJI has tried, Insta360 has tried, and those are all really good cameras, but we still think GoPro edges everybody out when it comes to image quality, overall user experience. It's gotten really good, especially in the Hero 10. Like, there are so few bugs, and just the whole experience of using the GoPro is pretty seamless and very easy.
We do think in the past there was a better camera, probably the Sony X3000, which is like a tiny camcorder. Many people use it to this day. However, at this point the footage just doesn't look as good as a GoPro, and we, being visual artists to begin with, really like to have the best image at any point. So we keep upgrading, you know, we don't use dated gear for that reason. Next question, should GoPro release a new camera model every year?
No, and not just GoPro. We actually think all camera makers should consider this. We don't need a brand new model every year, every 6 months. I think DJI and Sony are both really guilty of this, where they're how many drones did DJI release in 2021? You know, too many, right? Like, they just keep upgrading, and the features that they add are so minor, like they're just not that, you know, important. So for the sake of everybody, you know, saving money, being a little bit more sustainable, I just think it's better to go to every 2, 3, even every 4-year cycle for a lot of products.
And now we have things like chip shortages, and the shipping lanes are blocked, and we really don't need this many products, to be honest, of all kinds, but especially the camera market is guilty of that.
Way too many.
Yeah. The next question is, how do you prepare a travel vlog? What planning goes into it? Do you script anything? How do you split up the work? All right, this is a big one, and we'll break it down right now. First of all, we plan kind of loosely, and you know, I tend to have ideas over time, so I read travel vlogs or blogs, and I look at maps, I come across places I want to go to, and I have a giant map on Google where I'm pinning everything that I come across. And when we have time to travel, I look at the map and I say, okay, I've pinned a lot in this area, let's go there and experience everything. And so then I may break up everything into days, like an itinerary. And the days I don't plan. I say we have a few objectives in a day, but whatever happens, happens, and we're going to put it on camera. So this way we have some planning, but also some flux. And some adventuring happens and we put it on camera spontaneously, and we're not scripted. Almost no video that we do is scripted, actually, and definitely not a single one that I've been has been scripted.
And that applies even to the travel or the gear channel. A lot of people think that I'm scripted there. I've tried scripting maybe on 2 videos, and I really don't like it. I actually think it slows down my process a lot. So I will outline on that video. Even this video, we often have some questions or just like some topics that we want to cover. But yeah, we are not scripted. We actually think it just adds to the time that it takes to make a video. It makes it a little bit more inauthentic, which is not what we're going for. And in terms of the travel planning, if it's not already obvious, Martin does the bulk of it whenever we're doing travels for fun. But if we're ever out on a client assignment, usually that's something that I'm planning out and working with the client on that.
Yeah, so the client trips tend to be like a weekend or something like that. And the big long trips that I plan tend to be like 3-4 weeks. Those are really fun for me to travel, and then those are really fun for me to plan and then to execute. So once we get on the ground, I do the driving and I keep in my head where we're going, what's going to be happening. And then what Susie does, the major thing is she actually plans out all the gear that we're bringing. She makes sure she's packed it all, it's charged.
We've got enough memory cards, and yeah, as we're traveling, I try to make sure that we're backing up our footage properly, that we're keeping track of our memory cards, not formatting them or losing them by accident. And when we come back, I also archive everything and then do most of the editing at this point, especially for all the travel videos.
So that way, each of us have their mind space. I can focus on the trip and make sure we don't end up stranded 3,000 miles away from home, and Susie makes sure we can film it and don't lose all the footage somewhere. Yeah, we come back with a lot of footage, and then the post-production, Susie does probably 90-something+% of the post-production.
Next question, do you have a typical shot list for travel vlogs, and how do you ensure that you don't end up with too much footage?
So this has taken learning. We don't premeditate, we don't script or do pre-production per se. We just tend to know how much is too much and just turn on the camera as much as we want to. And then when we go home, we don't want to have 3 hours of footage to sift through and fill up our drive. So we try to do one take for everything, and we try to not start just rambling. It just has taken conditioning, basically.
So on average, we actually end up with about 40 to 50 minutes worth of footage for a full day of shooting. Like, we've been incredibly consistent without even planning it. Like, usually we're not, it's, maybe an hour and a half, like, tops, if we include a lot of like those driving shots, but we never do like 2, 3, 4 hours of shooting every day. And maybe that's also a restriction of our batteries. The GoPro batteries, as you guys know, don't last very long, so we are a little bit conservative for that reason as well. And also our memory cards, we don't bring a ton of memory cards with us. And so with the restriction of the technology, that also influences our decision to keep things short, but it's just also our style as well. If we don't want some long rambling travel vlog, we want it to be pretty fast paced.
Yeah, and once you have shot something like 300-400 videos like we have, it goes to your head, right? You don't have to be like ABC on a sheet of paper. Mm-hmm.
But this is our method of travel vlogging. There are some travel vloggers out there who do go on for hours and hours, and they upload those videos, they get millions of views. So if you guys are trying to plan out your own travel vlogging style, like, ours is just one of many examples out there.
That's true. Some people do the opposite and premeditate and script the hell out of every single thing you say, so it's really up to you.
Do you keep everything that you shoot, even the clips that you don't use?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question. We delete some things, but they have to be the right things. Meaning, I have done some videos, for example, lately where I just speak off the top of my head for 40 minutes. I don't keep that in RAW after I do it. It's just my head in space moving around, basically down the street or something. Oh,
he's falling asleep.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, you woke up. So certain things we know are good for throwaway, but when it comes to B-roll, we keep all of that. And if there are some gear videos which are not extremely crucial to preserve, then we delete those. But when it comes to our life experiences that go on our travel channel, most of that stays stored.
The only things that definitely get deleted are those times that we accidentally film, like, like a butt dial kind of thing, or like the camera's filming and we don't realize it, and we delete those, or just obviously bad clips that we're not going to use. But if it's anything even semi-valuable, then we definitely do keep it.
For the record, I've never pressed the camera button with my butt.
Well, it's just, I don't know how else to say it, but yes, like the times when you're filming your pocket or something, we do have quite a few of those. Like that does happen, and we don't keep those. Okay, next. How do you manage the volume of your footage? Oh boy, just hard drives. We have tons and tons of hard drives. We edit everything on solid state hard drives. They're like really mini travel drives that are really great for traveling, and they're really fast, good for editing 4K video, which is what we shoot. And then after we're done, we archive everything. I upload it up to SmugMug for the online cloud backup, just the B-roll, not all of the A-roll. And then we use old-fashioned hard drives. Okay, next, how do you make traveling with a baby seem so effortless? I'm glad you guys think it's effortless.
By cutting.
Yeah, by only showing you the select moments that are nice.
Actually, it's a really good question, and we are surprised how easy it has been for us. Part of it is because our baby has a really good temper and has never had any serious problems, like he's never been sick, he doesn't cry too much, he doesn't really have too much of a routine per se, like he's pretty flexible, good-tempered and everything. So the other thing is we're really, really good at travel. So we know how to travel and pack and just about everything about it well. So also shoot, we have become so efficient at it that the baby is an extra, but being good at it already really, really helps.
With that said, we have had to modify our travel style and also the travel of our videos. Whenever we're doing our family trips, they are a little bit more slower paced now. And even, when we went to California and did our month-long trip, if it had been just the two of us, it probably would have been a lot more high speed. We probably would have done a lot more activities, but we just slowed down our rate of travel a lot so that we could actually enjoy time with him, not rush him and not rush ourselves, and make sure that we're having a good experience.
Yeah, the days are more so like half days when it comes to traveling with him. Before that, we would wake up at sunrise and shoot until sunset and just pack the day completely. But now we wake up, we take a time, we feed him, we make sure he rests, and we are back to put him to bed on time.
Okay, next. What is your next out-of-state trip and why?
We haven't thought about it very well. Actually, we are really spontaneous when it comes to travel. We don't plan ahead very much, even though it may appear so. I have ideas typically of where we want to go. I am thinking about Montana because there's an opportunity there we're hearing about, and we have friends with a cabin. I'm thinking about Cabo in Mexico as well. So it's going to be maybe one of those.
And with that said, though, we also have family that are out of state and out of the country, and so we are hoping to be able to see our families within the next year. Many of them have not even met Julian yet, so we have that in our minds, but that's less about video, even though we will shoot YouTube videos there, of course, but those trips are more so to see family.
Yeah, so that could be Hawaii or Bulgaria, hopefully both this year as well.
How can you afford everything that you do?
So it's not like we're rich, but we do live well, and people wonder, we're fairly young, like mid-30s at this point, how we can do all this. So it's really a combination of things. A lot of what we do and we own actually comes from the business, the media business. So a number of the trips that you see us on, or like going out, eating gourmet and all this kind of stuff, is because of clients and we're working for them, and the videos are kind of byproducts of what we're doing for them.
That's true. So far, we've only had a small handful of YouTube videos that we made, because of a client, because a client paid us to make them. But oftentimes, if we make YouTube videos, we're doing it because we want to, and no one is paying or sponsoring us directly to make that video. Although we might be making some other products, such as photos or separate videos for them. But the YouTube videos themselves, we're doing just because we want to and for our own YouTube business.
And the long, nice trips that you may have seen, last year we did a month out all the way to Colorado. We drove. Then we went to Arizona. Then we went to California. I have a job. I just quit after 5 years at Amazon, so I'm funding them this way. And I love doing them. So to me, it's not at all like about the expense. You know, this is how I want to live. So it's something that I would rather spend my money on.
Are you staying in Washington State or are you moving? And this might need some context for those of you that just follow us on the Gear channel. We have a whole series that we made last year because we were contemplating leaving Washington and moving to Arizona. So that's probably why some people are asking this question. But yeah, we've been back in Washington for over a year now, and it's been over a year since we made that, you know, should we move to Arizona, that series. And so yeah, we're not moving, we are staying here for the time being.
That's true. For the foreseeable future, we're staying here, and we're really leaning towards having a second home. We don't want to fully live here. We want to maybe leave for extended period of time, or we want to have another location to spend winter time in, but we haven't found a place in the world where we want to completely relocate to.
Any advice for someone wanting to start a new YouTube channel?
Number one advice is start. Just do it right away.
Be consistent, and it will suck at first. It will be terrible. Even when we started Gemini Discover at first, we got so excited to upload the video, and then you publish it, and then you get no views for hours, and all of a sudden you get a couple of views, and usually it's your mom or your family back at home. And so it's really rough getting started. But if you're consistent, you keep at it, and you just find your audience. And then it starts to pay off for itself that way.
Yeah, and a few years later, your mom is still the one watching the videos the most, but at least there are some thousands more
There's
people.
some other people too, not just your mom doing it.
Yes.
But yeah, just start, be consistent, and watch other YouTubers, and don't be afraid to try to, copy them, not to like imitate, but then as you try to copy them, you start learning a lot. You learn to what goes into making a shot and just how much time goes into it, and it really helps your skill develop.
And for me, artistically, perfectionism is a good detriment. I've tried that when I wanted to be a writer, and it was just an enormous burden in my head, and until in the end, nothing came out of it. So what you need to do is forget about what you think about it. Whatever you can do at this time, put it out and let other people tell you what they think.
What are the YouTube channels that you watch regularly?
Well, there's a lot of them, first of all.
Yeah.
Second, it changes a lot. Third, each of us has their own channels.
That's true, yeah. So in order to train the algorithm to suggest new channels for us, because we have different watching tastes, we use 2 different channels to watch our content in hopes of discovering new YouTube channels all the time.
Yeah, but some that we both like are, one is Harold Boulder. We just saw his latest. And he makes hour-long videos. He's been inspiring in that he can make a long video without really tiring out the user too much. Or
He's
the
a travel vlogger who came up along with Bald and Bankrupt, if you may have heard of him as well. And we actually watched Harold Balder evolve. We watched him be a not so great vlogger to becoming one of the top travel vloggers on YouTube. And so yeah, he's an inspiration just to see his style evolve, and just he does really interesting things.
Yeah, when it comes to other topics, for example, gear, we like the potato jet head, potato head jet.
Potato Jet, yes. And he also has a travel or just a vlogging channel as well. So we like to watch that. And what else? A lot of cooking channels. We're both kind of into cooking videos. There are lots of YouTube cooking channels out there, different techniques.
That's true. One of the last channels I've been binging is called the French Cooking Academy. Very inspiring.
And I just found one today called Pro Home Chefs. So yeah, tons and tons of cooking videos out there.
And this has to do with having a baby now, so we can't go out to restaurants as much.
Best technology releases of 2021.
2021.
I'm going to say the very first one is the Rode Wireless Go 2, which is what we're using right now, and we've been using it almost every video since it came out, so that would be my #1 pick.
Did the Mini come out this year?
Yes, it did.
So I really like the DJI Mini 2. To me, it's the perfect drone. I don't need the heavy duty and bulky. This one fits in my pocket pretty much. It's awesome, and it shoots just good enough for us.
And by the way, I'm going to say this on camera to hold myself to it, but this year, one of my goals is to learn to fly the drone. And I will be documenting that whole journey. So we'll see. I don't know when I'm going to start doing that, but it is something I want to do this year.
We'll be expensing it maybe.
Yes, if there are any accidents, it would be a business expense.
So about the drone, I've played so many games that to me it comes very naturally. But I did break one drone during our honeymoon because I was flying backwards next to a complicated coastline, and I hit a rock flying backwards where I thought there were sensors, but apparently on my drone at the time there were no sensors on the side or in the back. So it is somewhere out there in the Adriatic Sea, no, not that, the Aegean, no, Tyrrhenian Sea, whatever.
And this is exactly why I've been afraid to start flying a drone. But this year, I'm going to try to conquer that. All right, best purchases of 2021. I guess these can be non-tech related.
Best purchase, there's been a lot.
That's tough. For you, it's probably your pots.
That's true.
So he started cooking this year, or last year.
This year, actually.
2021.
Yeah, okay.
Not 2022. That would have just been like yesterday.
I started cooking in 2021. I really like the Le Creuset pots. It's what they call French oven or the brazier, cast iron with enamel. Very nice. It's inspiring, makes you want to cook more.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, along those lines, those green pans that you got, we upgraded our cooking pots and pans as well. And those have just been so good. They make me want to cook more because they're so efficient.
What else? Let's give them something other techy.
My Sony a7 IV. I just got it actually a week ago, but so far I really, really love that camera. It's taking me quite a bit of time to get to know it. In fact, I'm making a whole video about how to customize that camera because there's so much you can do with it. But I'm really excited to start using it more. I haven't even looked at the footage that I've shot with it yet, but so far I'm really excited.
I'm excited to buy a camera this year. I hope the chip shortage doesn't prevent me from that, but I want a Fujifilm X-H2, which is rumored, it's not even announced, but I want a brand new mirrorless, and it has to be a Fujifilm. Another very important purchase was everything by this company, Nuna Baby, which is our #1 for everything we're buying for Julian, like stroller, car seat, pack and play travel cribs, and there's a little chair over here that's like $300, like the fanciest chair ever. But
you're about to buy him another really fancy chair, actually.
Yeah, for the
His car seat. Yeah.
So everything by Nuna Baby is just so well engineered. If you're a fan of good design and good engineering, they're amazing.
And actually, I am planning to make a travel gear for traveling with baby video that would go over on Gemini Discover. So stay tuned for that video because it is in the works. And then, yeah, we kind of are starting to answer this question already, but the last question is technology that we look forward to in 2022. One would be the X-H2 for sure.
Yeah, that's #1. What else? I don't know if we need anything like...
You need a new phone, actually.
Yes, that's right. So whenever Samsung releases a new flagship, I'm going to buy that.
Yeah, we're both Samsung users. We don't use iPhone. And so, yeah, Samsung, the latest Galaxies have been really good. But for you, it's been since the S9 that he's upgraded. So he really needs an upgrade.
Yeah, so that's going to be nice to not have lag and running out of space every 5 minutes. Oh, yes, I know. I'm going to finally buy the goggles for the drone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when that comes out, that's when I'll start flying the drone because I think that will make it a better experience.
Yeah, so I've been wanting to, but I just never got around to it because we've been really busy. But I want to fly first-person view. So let's add one question from ourselves. What are our plans for 2022?
Well, as we just said, we don't really plan in advance too much. So
time to brainstorm on camera.
Yeah, we have some loose plans for travel, like we just mentioned. We would like to potentially go to Mexico for fun and potentially Montana or just parts of our state. We want to take Julian camping, actually. That is one that we want to do this spring or summer, hopefully multiple times, because hopefully he'll love it. We also hope to see our families this year.
I quit my job for 5 years at Amazon. I just started a new job, which is pretty exciting. Now I work for a major media company, which you all know about, and eventually I'll tell you about it when I quit there too. But I was working in the media at Amazon, and I'm continuing to work for the media, but this time for a media company. And with that, that's work. Almost all our thinking has to do with Julian at this point. Like he's gonna start talking, walking throughout the next year. Then we're going to need to start teaching him a whole lot more things. So that's the exciting part in our lives actually at this point.
Yeah, we're just so excited to show him new experiences and take him new places and see his reaction to those experiences. He just started eating solid food for the first time, and it's just been really funny to watch that whole whole process. So we're just really excited for how he's going to keep growing.
He's eating over half a pound of salmon a day now.
He had to choose salmon, wild caught salmon, as the first food that he'll eat and eat a lot of.
As he grows and learns to do more, we're going to make that a lot bigger part of the travel channel we have, Gemini Discover. So far, he's kind of been like an extra where he's in the stroller or he's sleeping in the back or something. But soon he will be doing a lot more. So he'll have his own perspective and character. And we're very excited for that, actually.
So in closing, that's a short recap of 2021 for us and what we look forward to in the new year.
Thanks for being with us, and we hope for another successful year of growth. Our family is growing for sure, so things are exciting on our end.